Hi, my name is Jordan Milner, and this is my video for Chapter 7 of our Summerhill School. I just wanted to share a few of my reflections about Neil's philosophies and his teachings and the way that Summerhill worked. So first of all, Neil really felt like students should be in the driver's seat when it came to their education, and so students were free to choose whether or not to attend class, which lessons they felt were important, which classes they felt were important, and also what work they felt was important. So if they didn't feel like that assignment was something that pertained to them or that excited them, then they could choose to not do that assignment. It was also a small community, and so most of the students lived on campus, well, and still live on campus, and it is student governed, so it's self-governed, and so students are encouraged to solve their disputes um, amongst each other and to really talk through that and decide how each situation should be handled in the best way possible. He felt that all of this would really engage students and that it would help them to really create a life, an adult life that they had always dreamed of. So whatever their dreams were, he felt like they could really achieve those by going to school this way. He also felt that students shouldn't be afraid to speak their mind, and so students and adults were considered equals. And so if a student felt one way about something, that they were really encouraged to make sure that they voiced their opinion and to really go through and seek out learning behind those opinions and just really not be afraid to say what they had to say or not be afraid to fail. Another thing that I found really interesting was that he said that children should have the freedom to play, meaning if a student really felt like they just needed to play or they just needed to have some free time, some away time from the classroom, then that goes back to that they could choose to skip classes, and that was just their right, that they had to have that freedom. And so I thought that was really interesting. And I just, you'll wonder how many students then choose to have that freedom all the time and how does that affect them in the classroom. But also, if you have that right, then maybe you choose not to do that as often and you really do seek out learning. I don't know. So I found that very interesting. What I did really like was his emphasis on the success of the individual student. And I love that success wasn't only measured by academics, it was really measured by how the student felt they were doing in accordance with their goals of what they wanted to be as an adult. And so I really liked that, and I loved the emphasis on the individual student. I think that in the US we've definitely been trying to do that over the past several decades, especially with having IEP plans, 504 plans, with all the clubs and activities that all of our schools have, all of our public schools have. I think we're taking steps in the right direction to make sure we really are focusing on the individual student. I know for Grand Island Public Schools, our mission statement says every student every day is a success. So we want to make sure that families know that each student is important, not just a group of students, and it's not just a standardized test score. Your student isn't just a standardized test score. So I love that he really aimed to achieve success for each student and that he was okay with that looking different for every student. Success wasn't just measured by a test score or measured by a grade in a classroom. It was really measured by what the student was learning in the classroom and what the student wanted to learn in the classroom. What did that student want to achieve? And if they set out a goal at the beginning of the semester to be able to do something and they were able to do that by the end of the semester, then that's success. It's not necessarily a test score or a grade in a classroom. So I really liked that idea, but I could also see how many of his ideas were very controversial, and how this would be difficult to implement on a larger scale. Some of the research that I did said that there's really only 100 people living in this community, 75 of them being children, grades kindergarten through 12, and so really that's a small number of kids in each age range, and so I could see why that would be very difficult to replicate on a larger scale. But I also know that his philosophies and teachings and ideas kind of gave us the basis for our public schools in the U.S. To really give that free and appropriate education for our students. And so his ideas, I feel like, have been very important to education and have definitely opened the doors for more creative ideas and different ways to help kids. Thanks for listening.